Hey,
What's up, girl?
what's up? Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to another Vanities Live.
Happy Sunday. It's really rainy and gross out here. But
Well,
it's still a very happy Sunday, y'all.
it is a wonderful Sunday. We're excited to see you guys. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Oh, and we're ticking and attacking you guys. We're excited to
Really ticking and talking.
We're excited to be here on another wonderful Sunday. We have an amazing guest coming to you guys. We both worked with her, and she is absolutely amazing.
Yes, we have. I'm so excited. I know you are. We are excited to have our guest, Lisa Mall, with us today. She has had an incredible career working on major productions like The Maze Runner, Cruel Summer, which we were both able to work with her on,
Yes.
and Jessica Jones, just some of your favorite TV shows and series out there. So this is going to be a really, really good show.
Yes, she definitely keeps you on point, on top of your toes. And she's just a sweetheart. I just really adore her. She is just somebody you want to always be connected to. She's always on point. You guys are gonna love her, and she's so full of knowledge. So make sure you stay tuned. Get your pen and paper together, because she's gonna drop so much knowledge. You definitely want to make sure that you stay tuned.
She's gonna be talking about. We're gonna be talking about several different things with her. Like y'all, somebody ringing the door. I don't know what that's about. We're gonna be talking about several different things with her, like set etiquette. We're gonna be talking about walkie etiquette, team collaboration, breaking into the film industry, all of those things. So if you know anybody that is interested in being a director, assistant director, producer, anything of that nature, that just wants any information on being in the film industry, share this live with them. It's going down.
It is going down. And you know what? Olympus has fallen. That is one of her things she's going to jump into. So I'm ready to get started. Are you ready to get started?
Absolutely. I'm so ready to get started.
Let's jump right into it. So,
Lisa, hey girl.
come on in, Lisa. Welcome to Vantage Live. We're so excited to have you. Let's give her a warm welcome and applause, you guys.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Why don't you give us an introduction of yourself and, a little outline on the things that you've done? And we want the people need to know who you are, Lisa.
Well, you guys were so flattering introducing me. I don't know what else to say. I'm Lisa. I'm a second AD. I'm a member of the DGA, the Directors Guild of America. I'm one of the weirdo ADs in that I work in both commercial and long form. So commercials are commercials, and then long form is both TV shows and feature films. Usually an AD will kind of do one or the other. I know I'm an anomaly in that I just do both. I do it all. But I do love working on feature films. You mentioned Olympus Has Fallen. I was actually a PA on that one. And Olympus was it's one of those that it was so hard when we were making it, when we were in it. It was a love-hate thing. We loved being there. We also really hated being there. It was long days. There were mistakes. There was tension on set. There was tension in the creative of it between the producers and the director. And there was but looking back on it, I have some of my very best friends that we're best friends to this day I met on that job. And looking back on it, the whole crew had so much fun together behind the scenes. Like we would go out for dinner and drinks, and we were all on location in Shreveport. So, we didn't know anyone else. So even on weekends, we would just hang out with each other. So at the time, it was one of the most difficult jobs I've ever done. In retrospect, it's still one of my most favorite jobs I've ever done.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
It sounds like it was very interesting. So, Lisa, your first industry job, what was that like, and how did that feel when you got your first industry job?
At the time, I didn't think I realized how big it was. My first real job, I put that in quotes. My first real job was on a movie called Vampires Suck. And it was a spoof film. It was a spoof of the Twilight movies.
Mhm.
It was the same guys who made, they made a string of movies, like the Scary Movie
Is it the
franchise.
Williams brothers?
No. I can't remember their names right now, but it was the same guys who made like Scary Movie and Scary Movie 2. That series, they made Vampires Suck.
Okay. I
And
think it was the Williams brothers. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
it wasn't them. It wasn't them. It was another pair of dudes though. I just can't remember. I'd have to look it up. And up until then, I had done, just random jobs, interviews, and like random things that would come through town. But then I got that one, and I didn't realize how much I didn't know. That was like, I want to say it was 2009, maybe 2010 is when we made that, and it was eye-opening. And the second AD on that was a man named John Mattingly, and I actually got to work with him again just last year. He came through Dallas on a little shoot on a show that he was working on, called me up like, I know you're in Dallas, you're a second AD now, want to come do this 2-day job with me? And I was like, absolutely. Like, I haven't seen you in 15 years, like 100%. So, the second AD from my first job ever is now a first, and he called me to come work with him. These connections that you make across your career, you never know when they're going to pop back up.
How did you land the job?
About it.
How did I get that job?
Because oftentimes people want to know, how do I get in the industry? How do I land my very first job?
I don't remember.
It's been a long time.
I can tell you at the time, I would use websites like, again, these don't really exist anymore in the same way they did, 20 years ago. And I'm aging myself a little bit, but I would go on Craigslist, and there was another one, it's like called Shelby List or something like that. And just these random sites that would have job postings. And unfortunately, Craigslist isn't the same resource it was back then, but I would apply to any and everything, paid, not paid, internship, PA, first AD, I would apply to any kind of posting that I would find. I would apply to it. And I worked a bunch of junk. I worked like random music videos for artists you've never heard of and never will. Corporate interview sets. Like I did all sorts of junk.
You know what was it that actually led you, that actually drew you to the role of second AD? Which and tell the people what an AD is.
Okay, so an AD is an assistant director. Not a director's assistant, as some people think. We, in a nutshell, we are the managers of this film set. We make the schedule. We're in charge of communications and logistics. We're kind of the glue that keeps all the other departments together. We're the only department that interacts with every single crew member on set. Because how often does your makeup artist get to interact with your grips or your camera department? Not that often, but the ADs have to work very closely with all of them to make sure all of these 100 little bits and pieces fall into the place at the right time in the right place.
And might I say, Lisa is very good at juggling all those departments at the same time. Like, I'm not just saying it, but we worked with her and was like, wow.
And the job is not for everybody.
It is not for everyone.
And that's true. You make a good point. Just the film industry, and it's all freelance, and that aspect of it alone is not for everyone.
Yeah. So Lisa, let's talk about your first industry job. Breaking into the film and TV industry, I'm pretty sure, and we all know, it can be really tough. So how did you land your very first job, and what lessons did you take away from that experience?
Well, we were touching on a bit ago, my very, very first job, I truly do not remember how I got the job on Vampires Suck. I do remember I drove to Shreveport for the interview. So instead of just, doing it over the phone, Zoom didn't exist back then. So instead of doing it over the phone or virtually or anything like that, I drove the 2.5 hours to Shreveport for a 20-minute interview and then drove back to Dallas. And I think that alone made a little bit of an impression that I wanted it. And
you did
it just, it proved you going that little extra step. It was nothing out of my pocket. I had nothing else to do that day. So going that little bit of extra mile, I think landed me the job. And then it was eye-opening how much I didn't know. Even, I didn't have the right kind of headset for my walkie-talkie. I had to borrow, the Burger King style from the production. And just the paperwork, like a PR. What's a PR? I don't know. Now it's a production report, and it's something that I have done hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of production reports.
Yeah.
But back then, people says, "Hey, can you give the PR to the UPM?" What? To who?
That's the part that's so interesting. You hear all those different terms. It was like, what in the world are they talking about? Were you terrified your first day on set?
My first day on set, probably a little overly confident in some ways. I remember it was a prep day that we were shooting. Like, we were shooting actual scenes, and they were calling it a camera test, but we were legit shooting on day 0 of 50 or whatever it was. And when they called lunch, I looked at my watch and I wrote down the time in the little book, and the agent, John Mattingly, who I already mentioned, he like shouted over to me. He's like, "Hey, what did you just write down?" And I said, like, the time that we called lunch. It was like a silent, like, okay, you're doing the right thing. You're paying attention. And it was,
you had that eye already.
That's so good.
It was just a memorable moment of like, so yes, I maybe was overly confident and I maybe thought I knew more than I did, but I also knew the basics, that it's important to know what time they called lunch.
Well, since we're talking about memorable moments,
yes,
Therese, do you want to ask her about any of her memorable moments?
Yeah. So you've worked on a couple amazing shows like Jessica Jones and Daredevil. Do you have any memorable moments from those shows?
Lots of memorable moments from both of those. They were both very difficult shows.
And any challenges? Did you have any challenges as well?
Oh, yeah. So both of those were my last jobs as a PA. Those were my jobs that helped me make that transition from a PA to an AD. And they're both very formative for me, because on Daredevil, I was the paperwork PA, which works very closely with the second AD, basically back to back. And I had some great second ADs who, it's a little funny. One of them, I think he was actually a little lazy, because I'm not going to name any names. He didn't like we have a program we use for scheduling called Movie Magic. And I don't know if he just didn't like using the program, or
wait a minute, hold up. We're not going to let that slide by. It's called what? What did you call it?
Movie Magic.
Oh, I thought you said something else. Okay.
What did you think she said?
I ain't gonna.
I want to know what you thought she said.
No. Y'all gonna die if y'all know what I thought, but I'm gonna act like I'm not.
I'm crying because I have an idea.
Yeah. What?
You can tell us later.
Okay.
But anyway, so I don't know if he didn't like using the program, or if he was like legit turning it into a learning moment, but he would sit me down at his computer, tell me the changes that need to be made to the schedule, and tell me how to do it, because it's not an easy program to use. But he would just kind of watch over my shoulder and tell me what to do and where it is and how to do it. But just that one show, working with him, learning Movie Magic, incredible, because it's a program that it's not intuitive, but it's very important to know how to use as an AD. And so having that experience as one of my last PA jobs kind of launched me. It gave me that edge up when I made the transition into a second AD, because I already knew how to adjust schedules within the program.
So what about like in the Maze Runner? I know there were like intense action sequences. How did you like coordinate the various departments on how to ensure like smooth operations on set?
So Maze Runner, that one, so a lot of those action sequences, we basically had two sets on Maze Runner. We were either on a stage, which is comfortable and easy, and we're able to keep everything safe and locked up. And yes, there were action sequences, but between the stunt coordinators and the first AD, the stage scenes kind of ran themselves. And then we had the Glade, which was, it's exactly what it looks like on camera. It was just this big valley on some guy's property in the middle of Louisiana. And that one was a little more challenging because we were so spread out. Basically, I had PAs over in like the hammock area, and I had one over in the farm area, and I had one by the door, and then there was like me on set, and that was it. We were so spread out. That's what our lockup was basically at the entrances, making sure no one came in. So coordinating those kind of bigger action sequences, it was a little bit every department for themselves. We were there to help, but our primary job was to keep other people out so that, you know, the effects could do their thing or the stunts could do their thing. One big challenge I remember on Maze Runner was we had a week of full overnights, and we shot it during the summer, so nights were short.
Oh, heck no.
And so they said we're not going to break for lunch ever this whole week, because when you only have 8 hours of darkness or whatever it is in the middle of summer, you have to utilize all 8 hours on camera. So what we had to do was work with the caterers, work with every department, get the menu every day, go to every single crew member, get their lunch order. When the food was ready, we would go up, we would put the boxes together, write everyone's name on it, bring it back down into the Glade, distribute it to the crew members so they could, you know, have something to eat while they're working nonstop for a whole week. So that itself was just like a logistics puzzle. It worked flawlessly. There was one guy who didn't get lunch on one day, and he was my background PA. He was one of the guys responsible for putting the food in the boxes, and he just forgot to make his own. And so it's one of those, like, okay, dude, you got no one to blame but yourself for that one.
Oh man, he was working hard, honey.
He was working so hard he forgot to eat himself.
Speaking of working hard, let's talk about something that the three of us worked hard on. Productions like, let's talk a little bit about collaboration with Vanities team.
Yeah.
Productions like Cruel Summer, which we all three of us worked on, which was so much fun and also so crazy during COVID. Like, yikes. You know, those type of productions also, besides outside of COVID, they involve significant character transformations throughout several years. So how did you work with us in the hair and makeup department maintain continuity and meet tight schedules? Because honey, it was tight.
It was so tight.
It was tight. It was tight every day. And COVID and cold, because Cruel Summer, and we shot it during the winter because
dead winter.
That makes sense. In the dead of winter. And that was Icepocalypse, that the entire Texas electric grid went out.
Yep.
As funny as it sounds, despite the hair makeup challenges, the most challenging thing about that show was COVID and was the weather. Because once we figured out that the hair makeup transitions, we got it. Like we had all those characters. I think it was 1993, 94, and 95. Yeah. And they had a very different look for each year.
That was a lot.
And so it was working. I remember working very, very closely with the first ADs making the schedule, and they would come to me and they say, can we have, what were the characters' names? Jeanette. Can we have Jeanette, you know, start in 95 and then go to 93 and then end the day in 94? And I would say, no, absolutely not. Like,
thank God for Lisa.
No.
With all the pranks she played in the midst of all of that. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
She had pranks every day.
Also, too, I remember at that time, that's when hair and makeup were in the same trailer. Remember that we were all in the same trailer and we had the plastic
Well, we had two trailers. We had two
Oh,
trailers
on
for
Cruel
we had,
Summer, we had
we had
two.
one trailer
Yeah.
for our department heads. And
yes.
then we had a trailer for the keys and
The
third.
third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had the plastic partitions.
Mm-hmm.
What a mess.
What?
I do not miss the COVID days.
Oh my God. I don't miss it either. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Cherise, do you want
But
to
I do remember,
collaboration maybe with hair and makeup team?
Say that again.
yeah, I do remember on Cruel Summer specifically talking to Sheila and Doug. Those were
Yeah.
our makeup our makeup department heads and the hair department heads. I ended up with a spreadsheet. Like the first episode or two, when we were figuring out the looks and everything, it was, we had some delays and we had some stress and a little bit of friction. But then once I remember going in there and I sat down with both of them and I said, okay, tell me the transition for Jeanette from 95 to 93. Okay, 95 to 94. Okay, vice versa. What's it going to take her from 1993 to 95? And I had a number for both hair and makeup of what it would take to go from each year to each character. Like I probably went in there and sat down with them for an hour because I was stressed, they were stressed, production was stressed, everyone was stressed because we couldn't figure this out. And like none of us wanted to have this conversation, but I remember going in there just like, look, we're gonna do this right now. It's gonna be stressful and it's gonna suck for like an hour, but it's gonna make the next 4 months go so much smoother.
Yeah.
What was
And
your process?
like sometimes
of
that's just what you got to do.
Yeah. How did
Say that
you go
again?
about coordinating that? Did you plan it out? Like, I mean, I know we get our schedules and they're crazy. It might be the day before, but how did you go about coordinating that? When you got the breakdown, how did you do it?
Like when to find the time to talk
Yeah.
to them?
Mm-hmm.
I think
That's a good question.
I think it was a day that we had a scene with maybe just two characters on set. So
Mhm.
so it might have been like the two of you were covering the set while Sheila and Doug were in the trailer, cleaning, prepping, whatever they had to do. And I just kind of barged in and it's like, hey, we need to do this. So let's just do it.
Yeah.
You made me think of something too, because sometimes it can be kind of awkward. Sometimes you can be in a trailer and we have so many actors in there. Can you talk about the proper time for an AD to come in and talk to the department head
Oh, yes.
about breaking, talking to, I can't even get out, the proper time to talk to someone, because it is not when you have a trailer full of actors and you need to be on set. That happened to me on a show, and I'm like, this is not the right time to ask me about how many DG, how many hairstyles we need for this. I'm like, can you please speak to that? Because that can be so crazy.
Honey.
Yeah, it is definitely a learned skill of reading the room. And so I tell people all the time, like being a second AD, you're managing people and you're managing personalities. Like my job isn't so much the schedule and logistics and all that. It's managing the people and making sure I understand what's going on in their department so I can filter it to a way that someone else will understand why this is happening, how we're fixing it, and all that. And when to talk to the department heads, it's definitely a learned skill. Because, like you say, it can't be first thing in the morning when there's 6 actors in the trailer all getting ready and everything. I can't go in there and stand there and hover waiting for my moment. And then on the flip side, say all the actors are gone. They're all heading to set. That's not my moment either, because you guys are in there packing up your bags because the actors already went to set and you have to be there before they start shooting.
Absolutely.
So that's not the moment either. It's just a matter of reading the room. Usually I find time maybe right before lunch or after the lunch touch-ups in the middle of the afternoon. A lot of times I'll follow you guys to set and I'll track you down there because if there's a big, if the crew is working to change the lighting for the turnaround or a big setup or something, that's my moment.
That is the
And
perfect moment.
and I'm not gonna lie, I text you guys a lot.
Yes.
Sometimes I can't leave base camp, and I rely on texting you guys to just to get the information I need sometimes.
You know what? And that's a good thing that you bring up. And it begs the question from a second AD's perspective, what are the key elements that make a hair and makeup team truly exceptional?
Truly exceptional is harmony inside the trailer between makeup and hair. Those
Yes.
are two separate departments. I'm sure all our viewers know.
Yes.
Harmony between makeup and hair, because there's so much interaction between, you
Yes.
know, a lot of the ladies, they'll have to go to hair and get their curlers put in, then they go to makeup and then back to hair. And it has to be like an easy flow between them. And then it goes back to the personalities. There's just so many personalities also with the actors, because you need your actors to always be in like a calm headspace to do the work properly. Sometimes an actor will come in hot and it just interrupt everything.
Yeah.
But I kind of always think of the trailers, the hair and makeup trailers kind of need to be a zen place, a quiet place, just almost like a spa type of mentality. And I have to like walk the tightrope of just kind of barging in and saying, hey, this is going to bum everyone out, but I need some really boring information that's really important. And then I leave. Like, I don't want to be in there interrupting the harmony more than I need to.
What advice would you give to hair and makeup to help make your job easier, to help make the production flow a lot better?
Be accurate with your estimates. That is the one and only thing I ever need. If you tell me 5 minutes, but then it's 30, that's a problem. If you tell me it's going to be 30 and then it's 5, okay, but that's kind of also the problem, because maybe the set has already pivoted to doing something else, and now we have to pivot back because they're ready. Whereas if it's 15 minutes and it's actually 15 minutes, gold.
Can you explain
Like,
to
that's the
our
one
viewers,
thing.
Lisa, can you explain to our viewers what that actually means? Because that was kind of a half thing that I threw out there, but can you explain that, please?
Yep. So, uh, say the morning base camp, the crew is on set, setting up for first shot of the day. Hair makeup is working on the actors for the first setup of the day, and it's always this a little bit of give and take. The first AD on set will call me in base camp and say, hey, how much longer do you need? And I say, hey, well, how long do you need? And it's this back and forth of making sure the set and the talent are ready at the same time to get that first shot off. Because if maybe the set ran into a problem, so this happened on a commercial shoot last year sometime. We had an actress with a snow machine. She had like think of a Ghostbusters backpack, but it was a snow machine, and she's like making snow all over the place. The snow machine broke. So we in base camp were still getting her ready for this shot that now we can't do on set because the machine broke, and it's going to take a couple hours to fix it. So now we have to pivot to doing something else. And so we probably lost an hour of time on the day between both those things. So there's things like that just throw a wrench into the thing. We have to rush call actors in. We have to rush them through the works. And then it's the game all over again. The like, hey, set will be ready for the new setup in 10 minutes. How long do you need? Well, our actor isn't even here yet. So we need at least 30, 45, maybe an hour, depending how long it takes for the actor to get here. And so it's always this give and take. But my job in that aspect is always about time and the timing of it. So you ask what can a hair makeup artist do for me? Be accurate in your estimates is truly the one thing we need.
I know you're
So,
pulling.
Lisa, for any production assistant that's aiming to become second ADs, what key skills and experiences should they focus on developing?
Listening and negotiation. So what makes a good PA is what makes a good second AD, and that is we have our walkie-talkies, and we're just listening to these voices in our head going off every day, and you have to zero in on what's important and what to filter out. So it's listening, just knowing what's going on around you. But then I also say negotiation, because it's negotiating with all the personalities. The way I ask, say I need a grip to move this big, flag thing outside. The way I ask him to do that will be different from the way I ask a hairdresser to I don't know, fix a wig or whatever it is. Really, any conversation is just a negotiation in some ways, and it's dealing with the personalities. It's keeping your own in check. I can't get flustered if someone else is having a bad day.
Mhm.
I can't let their negativity become mine, because that'll just trickle through to the entire crew, really.
I know on set you see walkies everywhere, and can you talk about the importance of having good walkie etiquette? Because that is a big deal.
It is a huge deal, and a lot of people don't know how they work. Only one person can talk at a time. That's how walkie-talkies work. And so if the first AD is talking, and say they're just talking and talking and talking, you can't interrupt them because they won't hear you. You just have to let them finish, and then you can say your part. Like they might be telling you to do something that you did 10 minutes ago, but you can't tell them to shut up. I already did it, because they're still talking.
What is one of
So
your
yeah,
pet peeves, Lisa?
What's that?
What's one of your walkie pet peeves?
Ooh, playing music over the walkie is terrible.
Wow.
It's terrible, because people play it off of their phone, and it gets filtered through the walkie mic, and it's always too loud, and they don't know when to stop. Just don't play music over the walkie. Just don't.
Don't do it, okay?
Just don't.
That is too much. You know what? We're having such a good time, y'all, but I think it's time for a quick commercial break. And when we come back, y'all get ready, because it is time for our audience game segment. So don't y'all go anywhere. We will be right back. All right.
I think it's time for a little trivia. Lisa, are you ready for some quick? We're doing a little different this time. So
We're going to do trivia, or we're going to do the audience game?
We're gonna do trivia. We're switching it up a little bit today.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Lisa, we're gonna include you in our trivia today. We're doing
Okay.
So, okay, quick trivia game with Lisa. Okay, about an iconic film that you actually worked on. Which city has been the best craft services in your opinion? So everybody, get ready. Is it New York, Portland, or Dallas?
Oh, you guys are gonna get me in trouble.
Which one do you guys think it is? Let's drop it in the comments. Which one do you think is the best one? New York, Portland, or Dallas?
I'm going to say, I think it's New York. I'm going to say New York, because New York got some food, honey.
Lisa was like, y'all get me in trouble.
I don't even eat pizza no more, and I know that pizza is popping in New York, honey. The Spanish food. Ooh.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but I would put New York last out of that list.
Oh,
So we're talking just craft service, like on-set craft
craft
service.
service.
New York was all about the look of it.
Okay.
They had their tablecloths and their little like cake stands and all like it. Every time they did a table setup, they had to take a picture of it and send it to their boss, but there was like no actual food on it. So I gotta say
Ooh,
the best craft service was in Portland.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Well,
My
did you need to go to
my
Portland?
my crafty
Go to
my
craft.
crafty guys up there was it's called Old School Craft, and they worked out of a retrofitted school bus and had like a big old like sandwich refrigerator. You just go in, you open it up, and you make yourself a sandwich. Like Old School Craft. Shout out
Love a good
to Aaron and
sandwich.
Rachel.
Yes, we love a good sandwich on set, honey. We do.
Okay. All right. Shout out to Portland. Anybody here from
Mhm.
Portland? Shout out to you guys. Okay. So, Lisa, can you tell us some key roles of the second assistant director? Or can you explain what their job is for us?
I sure can try. So the easiest way to think of it is there's three ADs on a film set. There's your first AD, your first AD, your second, and then your second, not called a third. I won't get into that, but there's three of us.
Okay.
Your first AD is in charge of today, what we're doing right now, what we're doing next, what we're doing today. My job as key second is I'm in charge of tomorrow, making sure we have all the things we need for tomorrow, all the people is here, all the equipment is here, all the locations are buttoned up, everything for tomorrow. And then the second is in charge of yesterday, reporting everything that happened. Did we make our day? How many scenes did we shoot? Did anyone get hurt? Just anything that happened yesterday is what the second is in charge of. The second also works on set kind of as the right-hand man of the first. So they have a big job. But that's like very simply how we divide the work: today, tomorrow, and yesterday. And so me taking care of tomorrow, like I said, I make sure all of our actors are here. They had their fittings, they have their costumes picked out, they know where to go, what time to be there. We have all the equipment, we have the location, and just making sure we have everything we need for tomorrow. So a lot of times at work, someone will ask me what we're doing right now, where we are in the day. I'm like, I have no idea. I live in the future. I have no idea what we're doing right now.
He's like, that ain't got nothing to do with me.
You know what? I love me some Vanities Live. I have to say so myself. Because so much knowledge is dropped on our show. I mean, I've worked on many sets, and you just told me some stuff I didn't know myself. So
Yeah,
thank
yes.
you so much.
And we
You're
want to make
welcome.
sure we open up the floor too to all of our viewers, the audience. You guys, if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. We actually want you guys to ask questions. And it looks like we have one right now. She says from Miss Pebbles, OMG, has any crew ever argued with you because you told them to do something?
Yes and no. I'll give you the example. I worked on the movie Get On Up, which was the James Brown biopic.
Yes.
To date, one of my favorite jobs. So we had a day where we were shooting at an airport, and we had a Vietnam era airplane. And so the cast and the camera and the first AD got on the airplane and they took off, and they're doing a scene in the air while the rest of us stayed on the ground and got ready for the next thing. And the last thing the first AD said to me when they got on the plane was, she said, keep this area clear, because this is where, when we land, we're going to pull the plane around right here and take all this stuff off. So just keep this area clear, is all she told me to do. And I said, okay. Well, lo and behold, plane goes up, they're doing the thing. Not 2 minutes later, the key grip tells his guys to start building this big frame. It was like a 20 by 20 flag, and they're building it right there in the spot that she told me to keep clear. So I track down the key grip and I say, hey, can we move this? And he says, why? And he says, and I say, because the plane's going to come in and land right here, and first AD wants to keep this area clear. And he says, I'm going to know when the plane's coming down. When the plane's coming down, we'll move it. And I say, like, okay, well, can we just move it now? Because the first AD wants to keep this clear. And he says, like, if it's a problem, you can tell the first AD to come talk to me. And I say, okay, but I will still look bad. And he says, I don't understand. Like, I'm the one saying I'm not going to do it and that the first AD can come talk to me. Why would that make you look bad? It's like, well, because this is the one job she told me to do when they took off. So it means I was not able to convince you to do the thing that she wants me to do. And that looks bad on me. That's just, I'm bad at my job because I can't convince you to do it. And he just sat there and thought about it for a minute, and he says, okay, watch this. And he gets his walkie-talkie. He's like, okay, guys, let's just like break this thing down and, let's go just put it over there. Like it was his idea in the first place. And I remember our medic was standing right next to us and saw the whole conversation. And she told me after the fact, she's like, I was so impressed with that whole conversation. I was about to go move the flag for you and all that. So yes and no. Sometimes crew has argued when I asked them to do something, but usually I always have a good reason for it, and I just have to kind of talk them into it and make them understand why this thing should happen.
When people are adamant about not doing what you ask, what do you typically do in those moments?
Just explain the bigger picture. Sometimes you have one job to do, right? Mm-hmm. You're a hairdresser. That hair has to look perfect. And that is your one job to do. Maybe you missed a creative choice that her hair is supposed to be messed up because she just got like thrown through a wall or something. And so the hair they wanted a little messed up for the shot, but that didn't make it to you. So, maybe we start rolling without calling last looks. Hairdresser gets mad. It's just explaining to them like, hey, they loved the messy hair. They don't want it to be perfect. They love the messy hair. I'm not preventing you from doing your job. Just it's for the bigger picture of the production and what the creatives want. Ultimately, the people who sign the paychecks.
Give the people what they want. That's Sharice always says that.
Give the people what they want. It's not about you.
It's not about you, honey.
Yeah.
So let's talk about let's change gears for a little bit. Do you have any mentors or anyone that helps you get into this business, that helped you along the way? If you do, who are they?
Lots and lots of mentors. I have no family in the film industry, so, no nepotism here, unfortunately, but lots and lots of mentors, things that I've picked up, over the years. I'll say again, John Mattingly, just an incredible AD, an incredibly kind human. And I am so happy that he was the AD on one of my first jobs ever, because it set the tone. I think it really did help set the tone for my career, because so often you work with people and you work on shoots that you learn more what not to do than what to do. Mm-hmm. And I think I was very, 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 very good to early on, having worked with some great ADs and some great people to show me how it could be and how it's supposed to be, which was kind of followed by years of learning what not to do. So yeah, you pick up mentors along the way, and yeah, learning what not to do is sometimes more important than knowing what to do. If you're a good, kind person, you kind of naturally know how it's supposed to go and how people are supposed to be treated.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get into another commercial break, and then we're going to play another game.
And before we break for commercials, you guys get your questions ready because we're going to do a live question and answer segment with the viewers. So get your questions ready. See you soon.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Para Paints, a real Motown gypsy, and y'all are tuning in to Vanities Live.
Okay, this is going to be a funny one. It's called When Was the last time you ate a Snickers?
Does a Twix count? Because that was just 2 days ago.
It don't count. It ain't a Snickers. It ain't a Snickers.
I'm going to say last year sometime.
Okay. When was the last time you worked on a show you were very, very proud of, and the name of it?
2019, The Dark Divide.
Okay. When was the last time you did an overnight shoot?
2023, summertime in Kentucky.
Okay.
Oh, no, I lied. It was just in like October, a Family Dollar commercial.
Okay.
We
A
shot
Family
overnight
Dollar commercial?
We shot overnight in the store because they were closed. That was the only time we could get in the store. It was just, I think it was October.
Okay. When was the last time you bought some shoes?
Last week.
Okay. When was the last time you went roller skating?
On Cruel Summer.
Really?
At the roller rink. So that was 2021.
Oh, I forgot we
Well,
had.
we were not supposed to be skating.
When was the last time you binge watched a show that you worked on?
Ooh, probably Daredevil.
Okay.
Okay. That's a good
When
one.
was the last time you worked with a friend or a family member on set?
Don't have family, so it would be my friend, and it would be last week I worked with David Glenn.
Oh.
And last question. When was the last time you took a vacation? You always have to think of that.
You are overdue. You are overdue. Vacation coming soon. Somebody book Lisa a vacation now.
I tell you what, I got one coming up in June. I'm going to go whitewater rafting down the Grand Canyon. So
All right. It's time for a vacation.
We love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, throw some Vanities Lives hearts for Lisa and her vacation, okay?
Yes. Vacation. Well, now I think it's time for us to dive into some questions from our viewers. You guys ready?
Yes, if you guys have any questions, please tap them in. Ask Lisa whatever you want. Or Teresa and I.
And I know you guys should be ready because she dropped a lot of information and you guys should be good and ready.
So we have one from Miss Pebbles. What is your favorite state to work in?
Texas, but specifically Dallas. I tell people all the time, they ask me, why do you live in Dallas? Like, why don't you live in Los Angeles, New York City, yada, yada, Atlanta? Dallas has the best crew in the entire country. And I can tell you why. It's because we don't get a lot of work. So everyone here is elite. Everyone here is cream of the crop, top of their game, because if you're not good at your job, you won't get enough work to survive. Wow. So Dallas has the best crew in the country. And I've worked coast to coast.
I'm going to have to second you on that. Sharice and I have both worked in a lot of different places. Mm-hmm. And no disrespect to anyone. Like, I have loved working in several different states. But something about Dallas just always brings me back. I love working.
It's very nice.
It's nice. I mean, and I just love working here. And we may not have gotten a lot of work before, but honey, the work is on the way. Okay. Left and right. I mean, it's getting so crazy. So I'm gonna second that with you.
What's your favorite snack? TJ Neal said, "What's your favorite set snack?"
So, I mean, as much as I love a good potato chip or a good Snickers bar, an apple with peanut butter is the thing that keeps you going.
Do you mean the ones that have the oats in them too? Those the apples?
No. Like
Okay.
like an apple, cut it up with peanut butter.
Okay.
A lot of people on set eat that.
Those apple
Yeah,
sandwiches, I'm like, I just can't get into
No. Get just like an apple and a jar of peanut butter and put them together.
This said, "I'm thinking Austin. How do you like working in Austin?"
I haven't done a ton of work in Austin, so I actually went to high school in Round Rock, and my parents still live there, so I could go to Austin anytime and work locally. I personally haven't gone there a lot. I've gone to Houston a couple times,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and
can't say much about Austin. I just haven't been.
That's Chelsea Fisk. That she's a amazing hairstylist. She works in Austin, so she's a little biased. But that's all right. But we know where you.
That's fair.
Oh man, we have come to the last few minutes of our show. And Lisa, we are so grateful that you took time to be with us today.
Yes,
and thank you for sharing your journey and your advice with all of our viewers. Do you have any parting words?
Just be kind. Like that's the one thing that will go furthest in this industry is just be kind. And we deal with so many personalities and so many egos and so much money. Like there's money at stake because what we do just is expensive, and you just never quite know the pressure other people is under. So if someone snaps at you, don't keep it going. Just shut that down. Just you have to take care of yourself. It took me a very long time to learn to take care of myself before I'm able to take care of other people.
Yes.
That's so true.
Yes.
Where can people find you, Lisa, and get all this great knowledge that you just dropped right here, which was a ton of it?
I'm on Facebook. I'm kind of on Instagram. I'll admit I don't really use it, but I'm listed. You can find me listed on the DPA website, and honestly, you could probably Google me and find my phone number.
Do you have IMDb?
I am on IMDb. Just Lisa Mall, like a shopping mall, MALL.
And we love that Lisa came on here. We have other amazing people. Make sure you tune in and follow us on Vanities Live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You'll be able to see Lisa again. She was absolutely amazing. Not that I'm surprised at all, because she's always
You're
amazing.
too kind. You're far too kind. Thank you so much for having me.
Y'all go follow her.
Yes.
Stop playing with your life and go follow Lisa Mall. Do it now. Okay. Also, too, make sure that you guys tune in next week. We have a really, really special show for you guys next week with one of our good friends that we had on this show before, Dr. Keith. We have a really, really special show for you guys next week. We will be doing a part 1 of a 3-part series. So y'all don't want to miss that. I guarantee y'all don't want to miss it.
Yes, she does. And thank you guys for tuning in. We love you guys. Thank you again, Lisa, for coming. It was our honor to have you. We appreciate you. We will see you on set very soon because you're always on the set.
I hope so. I hope so.
We will, and we're just very grateful. Thank you guys for tuning in at Vanities Live once again. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. We would love to see you guys. Make comments and tell a friend.
And share this episode.
Yes, share this episode.
And turn on your notifications. What else?
We'll see you guys next
Love yourselves and have a great week.
And more and more and more.
And all of that.
See you guys next Sunday. Enjoy your week and your weekend. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
wake up feeling fresh. Okay, I keep my homies with me, I can no stress. Okay, I keep my Bible on me, I'm forever blessed. I don't bet my cash, diamonds on my chest.